Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, I want to talk about my newfound obsession with the Wraith. Now, this unit has always been very good on aggro, but recently I've kind of, refound a joy in playing it. Now, credit doesn't go out to me, it goes out to a bunch of other top players. I kind of want to mention Bluehair, who's shown me and shown us how to play a Wraith with high explosive and the Abyss, but there's plenty of other high mark players like Apucci who have been playing this type of a setup for a long time. And today I'll be up against Steel Sane. This was part of the EU mini tournament, the Advanced Group 1. And yeah, my opponent starts with Steel Balls. I go for a Tarantula opener here with the Fangs. And immediately I'm thinking, okay, I don't really want to try and throw this onto either of the sides because I'm a little afraid that I'm going to guess wrong and I have no tower pressure. All of my units are pretty slow. All of his units are fast. He's got crawlers. He's got steel balls. The tower pressure is just way higher for him. So let's try and play a center defense instead. So that's what we do. Fangs are going to be 2 squares from the inside of the tower. That way we can pull everything no matter where it is. If it's all the way on the edges, it'll still get pulled. And it gives us a little bit of a better setup going forward. I'm a Typhoon specialist, opponent is a training specialist, picks up 2 hounds for his chaff, clear levels 1 immediately. Quite a powerful thing. Hounds can struggle against crawlers when they're only level 1 because they can't one-shot them, but at level 2 that problem no longer exists. And yeah, pretty nice play to make there on round 1. I just decided to go double crawler, wasn't too interested in trying to play marksman. Could have done so. I do run assault marksman again, but playing Spider plus Assault Marksman is a little bit tricky because both units get countered by the same type of units and can be a little bit prone to getting hacked as well. But yeah, you can see here that buying chaff sets me up for the later rounds, but it definitely doesn't give me a good chance of winning the first. And that is going to be a dominant victory here for Steel Sane on round number 1. We're going to take a decent amount of damage. There we go. Now, immediately I'm thinking, you know what? I might just want to play Wraith. Improved Overlord here does show up in the cards, which was a consideration, but it's a little bit too early. If this showed up on like round 4 and I wasn't too sure what to play yet, I might have picked it up, but I think it signals too much what I want to do. And, I mean, even if I like really try to buy one, I'll only be able to buy one next turn and then my board will be pretty empty still. So I decided to kind of just skip instead. Although maybe I take the quick teleport here, that could be a play. What I likely want to do is just sell one of the spiders here and go for a Wraith. And just kind of, yeah, substitute my tarantulas, which need a lot of techs and aren't the best, into steel balls for the Wraith. I do pick up the quick teleport. I unlock the Wraith. And I also go for the field recovery. Now here I'm kind of thinking which one of the 2 do I want to sell. It's going to end up being the right one. And we pick up a crawler and then a Wraith. Now lucky for me, it looks like the opponent didn't really respect the potential for an air threat, even though Phoenix is somewhat common to pick up on round 2 with Tarantula. But instead here it's going to be the Wraith, and well, if we can kill this Fang Pack, which we should be able to, the Wraith will just win by default. And it's always very nice when you have these type of rounds where you just know that you're going to win and the Wraith gets to farm up all of the remaining units when all of your ground units have already perished. And so yeah, here we go. Some of the units will still go for my towers, but all we have to do now is wait for the Wraith to clean up everything, and that will give it at least over half of the experience requirement for level 2. Never mind, even up to 3/4. So very happy with how that went. And now round number 3, we get a fantastic item, probably the best item you can get on Wraith, the absorption module. So I will pick that in a heartbeat, throw it onto my Wraith that's almost leveled, and we immediately go for the range tech here. Opponent does have the intensive back off cooldown. Still thinking about his choice. Goes for supply enhancement. So starting on round 7, we'll be having or making 50 profit every round. Of course, still has to pay back that card, which costs 150. Crawler here on the left as well, because there's a Fang on the shallow flank. Not sure why it's a Fang, but putting a Crawler there I'm pretty happy with. It should be able to contest it rather easily. Double Marksman now picked up for my opponent, and he levels 1 immediately. Does run the aerial specialization on them. Also levels the right tower. And how will we do? We have sold our final Tarantula as well, so it's just Chaff and Wraith for now. We do get locked, and from the looks of it, a Crawler flank also came through. And that debuff really could not have hit us at the worst timing, because it reduces our damage by 90%, and that means we also lose the other tower. The Wraith is unable to heal back up the damage, and we do end up losing this round. So a good bounce back from Steel Sane and sending us down to 3,500. Round number 4, I get access to my Typhoon, and we also get access to the first set of unit reinforcements. Double Farseer here, the pickup for Steel Sane. I was thinking about picking up some Wasp, but with Mustang and Farseer offered, that didn't really feel like the right play to make. Phoenix here, probably the best for me, but I could also pick up the Rhino if I want to. The question is, do I trust my Wraith right now to be able to deal the damage? And I felt like that was kind of the case, so I tried to go for a bit of a different play and pick up the Rhinos. One will go here on the right side, kind of protecting the tower. A Hound gets added from the looks of things, so pretty happy with the Rhino choice. One on the left flank, and then one here kind of on the right side, tanking for a third Wraith. Our first Wraith with the absorption module picks up a level, so of course we pick that up. And the Typhoon will just kind of sit pretty here on the left side in front of the Fang. I don't necessarily need it for chaff clear, but it's a decently tanky body, which might do an okay job here of tanking for the Wraith. Because when you look at these Farseer that have been picked up, they already have the EMP tech. Also, enemy Hounds now with the range. By the way, the tech setup that I'm currently running is range 8 gun or floating artillery array, high explosive, and armor enhancement. Been playing around with high explosive quite a bit, and it's really strong. Super cheap tech, and increases the splash from the Wraith up to 15 per shot. So if you have 8 guns, that is probably the best chaff clear that you can have in the game. Round number 5, advanced power system shows up. Mobile beacon also could be a nice pickup with the Wraith. Opponent though goes for the nuke. We decide to go for the advanced power system instead. Didn't really feel like playing the nuke, even though there's a lot of stuff to hit. Because I didn't think that we would get to use this again. Since it would be back on round 10. And I'm not really at a risk of dying here. We buy another Rhino, trying to get into this right tower. Didn't want to click the armor tech just yet because of the EMP on the Farseer. But I already was thinking about eventually picking up a Photon Overlord to cover both the Rhinos, make them tankier, and of course cover the Wraith so they don't get EMP'd. And we immediately pick up Floating Artillery Array here. Now the reason I go for Floating Artillery Array first is because my opponent has some decently tanky units, some Steel Balls, some Farseer, and I don't want to nerf my damage. Now the Wraith almost makes it out, but just the corner gets hit by the nuke, and so it will end up going down. And that makes a big difference. I think if that had made it out and lived, we probably would have a good shot to win this round. We still do okay, but the AA that's been picked up on the Marksman finds my Wraith. And, well, we still have a Rhino left, but that's not going to make it too far. Still though, considering there was a nuke in play, losing a small amount of hit points there isn't too bad. And round number 6, mass-produced Wraith shows up. That's definitely not a card we wanted to go for. That would nerf our existing Wraith by 20%. Advanced targeting system here could be an idea, but I still felt like it was a bit too expensive. That definitely could be a pickup though for the Wraith. Giving them 10 range, it would have been an option, and normally I don't like that card. I think it's too expensive, but I could have seen it here. I don't go for it though. Instead, I'll just pick up the Wasp drop because, well, my opponent had the threat of going for it, and we kind of preempt it, use this defensively. More crawlers picked up. I am thinking about loose formation here because my opponent's chaff clear is not the best right now. Has some leveled hounds, but the hounds aren't great into the Wraith, and they will fall relatively quick, and when they do, the late chaff can become a problem. Right side, we put down a Rhino, a Wraith, a Crawler as well, or the Rhino was already there, but we added some additional units. And let's see how this goes. Wasps here will win, so we're happy with that. Wraith, though, gets locked, but just have a look at that regen. I mean, this is why this item is so insane on the Wraith. It's taking damage left, right, center, but it just manages to heal almost everything back up. Now, as I say that, it does go down to the level 3 marksman, but it held on for such a long time, and, well, now we managed to get the other tower, and we pick up the round. So finally we strike back, and now our opponent's already down to 2,400 hit points. Round number 7, Raiden, Vulcan, Sandworm, and Stormcaller available here. None of these seem that great for me. I could pick up Sandworm, but there are some ranged balls in play, so felt a little tricky. Instead, I'll go for the Vulcan, because it's worth the most alongside the Raiden. And, oh, well, actually the Stormcallers are worth most, but they're kind of difficult to sell. Need 3 rounds for that. And, yeah. I can go for the Vulcan for 1 turn. It'll be tanky. My opponent might not expect it. It'll do okay damage. And we can parry it up with the oil from the tower to set this guy on fire. This is also the turn that we decide to pick up our Overlord, our first one with the photon coating. That will hit 2 of our most important Wraith. And hit the Rhino and the Vulcan as well. And that might allow us to tech into some of these Rhino techs, right? Armor is a great tech usually, but into steel balls, maybe we go for something like Final Blitz, preventing it from getting EMP'd and perhaps allowing us to blow up some of these steel balls along the way. I did pick up the second attack enhancement, by the way, which is definitely worth picking up when you're playing something like Wraith, but also Mustang carry, Fang carry, anything really that has like a very rapid firing gun, but relatively low attack. Wraith, though, does get locked, and while this marksman is burning, it's level 5. 9k hit points, actually manages to survive for an awful long time. I really thought that it would go down, but no such thing. Even one-shotting there? Almost one-shotting our Overlord. And despite going for the fire and the cheese play, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to take this one down. Well, as I say that, though, maybe we do take down the tower, but our Rhino is awfully low on hit points, and the EMP is slowing it down. Okay, we will win. Actually, the Sandworm is still alive. I didn't see that guy, but there it is. Wraith will take care of it, but that's a marginal win for a round where really I was hoping to deal at least 1,000 damage. Oh well, either way, managed to get a bunch of levels. And round number 8, another nuke shows up. We decide to go for the Orbital Javelin as a cheaper spell that probably has about the same impact. Can't get shielded and has a lower cooldown as well. So that's going to be the pickup for us. But another nuke there for Steel Sane. That's his second one. The other will be off cooldown in 2 turns, mind you. So We are getting bombed in this game. Javelin here aimed at the Farseer and the high-level marksman, which now has double shot too. That is very scary. And finally we decide to pick up loose formation, kind of trying to punish the opponent's lack of chaff clear. He does have the hounds, and the hounds are definitely better into this than arclights would be. But it's still worth clicking. And I put a crawler here on the flank. I know I really haven't made use of quick teleport too much, but it's a cheap card, so I think it was worth picking up. And then, I mean, if we want to try something, we can always give it our best shot. But yeah, the crawler there was kind of to help keep the marksman and the Farseer in place, and they do get hit by the javelin. And as I say that, oh, the worm resurfaces near our tower, but quickly gets dealt with as we had the debuff there. And as you could see, our Wraith actually managed to survive the nuke there, thanks to that photon coating lasting longer than the nuke. And that is an okay amount of damage now. Steel Sun down to 1400. We might be able to close this one out in the next turn. Or so I would hope, because that would mean not having to deal with that nuke next round. EMP shows up. We do go for it. Our opponent, I believe, decides to skip there, or goes for the advanced shield perhaps. And now what do we do? Loaning, temp speed, temp range picked up. Always a good thing to do when you're into those late rounds. And picking up more rhinos, because I was thinking about picking up, indeed, that final blitz. All of the Wraith, all of the rhinos are now covered by the photon coating, so we can't get EMP'd. Hopefully these guys will kind of run in and blow up in my opponent's face. Some wasps have been picked up too, to try and distract on the right side, because the Farseer is only available on the left for now. So no amazing wasp clear on the right. But our opponent goes for triple Vulcan with Incendiary Bomb as a response to those loose formation crawlers. We are also putting down some missile interceptors, because our opponent is using some missiles, as you can see. Okay, well, these are ours, but wanted to try and make sure these rhinos don't get slowed. Last second, some shields do make it down, which means those units won't quite get EMP'd apart from the Farseer. And let's have a look. Some of the crawlers are making it through. The fire doesn't quite land everywhere. And wasps on the right side doing a good job of distracting the opponent. But man, those level 4, level 6 marksmen with AA and double shot are very scary. And as we do get the tower, we still need to move across to the left side of the board, and we're running thin on wasps. Never mind about running thin, we simply ran out. And yeah, here we go. Rhino is still there, but whew, that damage is through the roof. And actually, Steel Stain there manages to pick up a round, and all of a sudden, the nuke is back off cooldown. Round number 10. And in here, there is not really too much that I want. I don't need Fire Badgers. My Chaff Gear is already as good as it could be. Melting Point is alright, but it's a little bit weird. I already have damage from the Wraith and my Overlords. And Mustang is just a little bit too... Well, it's high level, so intercepting I didn't feel like was an option. Maybe it would have been, though. Pick up the double Mustang, buy 3 more, go interception. Could have been an idea. But instead I decided to pick up the Phoenix, sell one of them, and then flank with the other. Because, again, we do have that quick teleport, and I thought there was a gap here in the defense, because these units are in front of the tower. And if I put a crawler here on the shallow flank and add the wasp drop as well, I should be completely safe, or at least be able to distract the enemy units and then fly in with the Phoenix and grab that tower debuff. They're high level, so the tower level shouldn't matter too much. But man, that nuke is slightly problematic. We do add some more wasps on the right side, again trying to abuse those marksmen. But now with the addition of Mustang, actually that's not the best of ideas, I realize. We are picking up some levels here. We also have the second defense enhancement. And there is the third tech, high explosive ammo, to try and clear the enemy units as fast as possible. And now how is this going to shape up is the question. Left side, by the way, that Rhino really not doing too great. Might need something in front, but it does blow up the steel balls. Phoenix manages to get in. Will eventually lock onto that tower. Sadly, though, there comes the nuke, taking out a Wraith and an Overlord, but we get the tower debuff. And as we get the tower debuff, we're now moving across to the left side of the board. And this Wraith, absolute hero, manages to take down the Mustangs in the middle so that the Phoenixes can have a go at the other tower, which will happen, if only just, but sadly, the Farseer EMP is turning off the Wraith techs. And it looks like, again here, we're not going to be able to win the round. One Rhino is still alive, but that's going to get EMP'd, slowed down. And taken out. And so Steel Saint picks up another round as we enter round number 11. Now, Photon Coating here available. Not really worth picking up because I'm already Photon Coating all of my units. I decided to go for Advanced Defensive Tactics. I am stacking a lot of health here. 30% from the second tower enhancement, 15% from the first one, so 45. Another 30, 75%. It's starting to stack, and then of course we've got the Photon Coating also reducing incoming damage, so our units are very, very tanky. And keep in mind, Rhino does scale off of, or the damage from the final Blitz does scale off of its hit points, so picking this up felt like a good idea. Both allowing them to maybe get a bit closer, and two, dealing more damage when they do explode. Opponent went for it too. Oil back off cooldown. Now being used. I didn't really expect this to land, but I mean it was still worth a try. Maybe the opponent like runs out of time, forgets about putting shields down, who knows. Goes for the oil himself as well. There is a world here where I could try to go for Hounds, but it just felt like it was the wrong thing to do. And instead, I decided to go for the classic in late game Heimdallr boards, which is the blue truck with armor, aka the blue factory. 660,000 hit points because of all of those defense enhancements that we have. Yeah, that's pretty tough to deal with. Although, level 8 marksman with double shot does deal about 42,000 damage per shot. So that could be a problem. We'll have to see. For now, it's photoned, so it's even tankier than just these hit points. But when this runs out, it might get EMP'd by the Farseer, and when it does, it loses 50% of its hit points, and yeah, now you can suddenly see 500,000 hit points. Which is still the same amount, by the way, as a normal blue factory with armor, without all of these defense enhancements, but still, losing about 160k there to the EMP, and it looks like, again, we're not managing to get through this one. The EMP does its job, the marksmen are holding strong, and it's a marginal win, but again, we need to close this one out, because next round, it's gonna be the next nuke back off cooldown again, and I don't think that we can survive 4 nukes during this game. Round 12, bunch of items. We pick up the improved firepower control system, always nice to throw onto a high-level Wraith, which is exactly what we do. And, well, our opponent took nuke, remember, but we took javelin, and that has a shorter cooldown, so it's back off cooldown before the nuke. Electromagnetic impact is available too. We're just going to try and throw that on the middle. I don't expect this to land, but it's always worth a try. Left side, we're again going to try and hit the Farseer because it's been doing us in so far. Third on damage, that EMP ruining my War Factory last round. And we just want to get rid of it. If we can get rid of that level 9 marksman as well, that is a massive boon in this round. Units are getting beaconed backwards, but from the looks of it, we'll still be able to hit this guy. War Factory level available, and at this point I don't really know what to do. So I just decide, well, the War Factory I think still was doing fine. The level will give it a lot of hit points. It's now close to 1,000,000 hit points. I've given it launcher overload. I'm beaconing it in. I've leveled all of the Wraith, and we're just picking up more chaff, hoping that some of it will get through, kind of placing it around the War Factory. and hoping to get into this level 1 tower. The other one is level 3, but the right side might be able to get in. Rhinos getting very close. Look at that boom. Final Blitz taking out Sledgehammers, Farseers, infiltrating underneath the shield. And meanwhile, left side, the Javelin did its job. And the War Factory will actually prevail. Get in, get the debuff. And it looks like finally we have managed to punch through. And, well, we do it in style. Plenty of damage available there. Minus 2,000 will be the end score. And we do manage to win. This was the first round, mind you, of the EU mini tournament. Really took everything from both of us. Fantastic game. Some cool stuff happening here with, well, kind of the spotlight perhaps on the Wraith that have been there from the very start. We pivoted out of Tarantula, mind you. Got a great item. And, I mean, these dudes just shaft clear like you wouldn't believe. Over 400 units cleared on a lot of them. And, yeah, they're really the shining star. I will also give a mention, though, to the Rhinos. Look at that. 73,000 damage dealt on the final round. Infiltrating and exploding in the middle of all these units. The War Factory, of course, does a great job, too. Shining in the final round with the level and the overload. And, well, the spell also was in our favor there. But, I mean, we got nuked 3 times. Almost 4 times if it went to next round. So, yeah, I think it was somewhat fair. But, man, just look at the amount of stuff on the board. So many crawlers. And, yeah, this was quite an exciting one. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up. If you like Wraith or you've played it, if you've been playing HE for some time, let me know down below. If you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.